Dear students, this video will talk about the different complex patterns of inheritance. In this video, I will give you several examples of each complex pattern to learn about it. Let's start. Now, the first one is incomplete dominance. Directly, we will look at the example. This flower is called snapdragon flower. Snapdragon flower, they have two dominant alleles. One represents the red color, the other represents the white color. Usually, we have only one dominance to overcome and hide the other one. But both these alleles are strong. But are they strong enough to be expressed? This is the question. After making the cross between them, we found out that the first offspring give us pink color. It's in between the red and white. Why? Because the incomplete dominance, we have two dominant alleles, but they are not strong enough to be expressed. Now, for first one generation, heterozygous, as you see, R and W, when we made self-fertilization, the flowers that we received, one red, one white, and two pink. So the ratio was 1 to 2 to 1. Again, I'll repeat. The incomplete dominance, two dominant alleles, but they are not strong enough to be expressed. That's why we received the blended color here. Let's move to the second example, which is codominance. From its name, co means with. It's not like the incomplete. In incomplete, we have two dominant alleles, but they are not strong enough to show themselves. But in codominance, these two dominant alleles are strong enough to be expressed. I'll give you an example. This is the shape of normal red blood cell. And this is the shape of the sickle-celled RBC. Actually, this is a heterozygous genotype. This person who has the sickle cell disease with heterozygous carry both the normal one and the sickle shape. This is a codominance inheritance. And I need to add a point here that the sickle cell person resists one of bad diseases called malaria that caused by protozoa from the genus Plasmodium. Because this shape along the hemoglobin, the protein inside it, will not allow this Plasmodium to live. This is the only benefit from that. In all means, let me give you another example of codominance, which is the speckled chicken. As you see, one of the parent, they have this dark color, let me say black, and the other has the white color. But because both these alleles are strong, it will appear with the first generation. As you see, we have the two colors, the black and white. Okay, this is speckled chicken, under which inheritance? The codominance. What is codominance? Both dominant alleles are strong enough to be expressed, to show themselves. Moving to the third example of complex inheritance, which is inheritance of multiple alleles. Usually, we know that each trait inherited by two different forms of genes, two alleles. But here, because it is complex inheritance, we'll start talking about multiple alleles inheritance. The main example of this inheritance is the blood group. Now, the blood group has three alleles, as we can see here. Okay, this is big I with marker or the protein A. This blood group is A. This blood group is B. What about the little I? Little I representing the blood group O. But I need to highlight something. We have A blood group, B blood group, also we have AB. What does that mean? That means it's not only multiple alleles inheritance, it's also codominance. Because A is a strong allele, B also is a strong allele, and both of them can express themselves. Fine. But regarding O, when we have two little alleles, O will be represented here, expressed, because O will miss the A marker, I mean the protein A, and the B marker as well. Also, I need to add that we have a protein and a marker called RH factor or rhesus factor. The presence of RH means the blood is positive, and if we are missing the RH factor, the blood is negative. We have to know that the positive is the dominant over the negative. Fine. Let me give you an example about how we can practice the Punnett square with the blood groups. Let's go to the example directly. A girl has type O blood. List the possible genotypes and phenotypes of her parents. Using this Punnett square, as usual, let me just put out the female regardless up or on the left side. And let's start doing the work. Once the girl has the type O blood, let me choose square for example. So her genotype is little I. Okay, that means she took one little I from her mom and the other little I from her dad. That gives us a clue that both parents are heterozygous. I mean I capital carrying regardless the marker, I mean A or B, and I small. And that's already provided as an information in the example. So we have several options. So as we mentioned, both of them should be heterozygous, no way to be homozygous, because if they were homozygous, I mean I capital, regardless A or B or AB, they will never pass the I small. So this option is not available. Now, maybe both of them, they were O, that means I small, okay? I'll do my best to write all the options here. Maybe both of them carrying A hetero, here you go, or both of them are carrying B marker heterozygous, okay, but they will never carry A and B. Regardless, maybe both of them are A, maybe one A and B, but in all means their genotypes should be heterozygous in order to pass what? To pass the little I for their daughters. Another example of multiple alleles, the coat color in rabbits. Multiple alleles can demonstrate a hierarchy of dominance. In rabbits, we have 4 alleles code for the coat color. The C capital, CCH small, CH small, and C small. Allele C capital is dominant to the other alleles and results in a full color coat. Allele C small recessive and results in an albino phenotype when the genotype is homozygous recessive. Allele CCH is dominant to CH, the chinchilla, over Himalayan. We have to know that the presence of multiple alleles increases the possible number of genotypes and phenotypes. And this is the last example of a multiple alleles. The coat color in Labradors can vary from yellow to black. This is the result of one gene hiding the effects of another gene, an interaction called epistasis. A Labrador coat color is controlled by 2 sets of alleles. The dominant allele E capital determines whether the fur will have dark pigment, as you see. The fur a dog with a genotype E small will not have any pigment, and that is very clear. The dominant B capital determines how dark the pigment will be. Now, we have several genotypes will produce yellow color, especially with the homozygous recessive E, and we have many genotypes that can represent the chocolate or dark color, which will contain the dominant allele E or B. And now, let's talk about the sex-linked traits. Traits controlled by genes located on X chromosomes are called sex-linked traits or X-linked traits. Now, let's Think about it. Male gender is XY, female gender is XX. Now, because genetically classified males have only one X, as you see here, okay, they are affected by recessive X-linked traits more than are genetically the female because she has two X's. I'll give you an example. We have these two disorders, the red-green color blindness and the hemophilia. Both of them are recessive. And who will be affected more with these disorders? Male. Let me show you this Punnett square. On this Punnett square, this is for red-green color blindness. As you see, the male has only one X, I mean the father, and the female has two X's. When the female will be affected if she is carrying two little b, I mean the homozygous recessive. But for male, it's enough to have the small or the little b. When we did the Punnett square, as you see, 50% girls, 50% boys, but who is affected? The boy only. Why? One recessive allele on the X of the male, it's enough to make this male affected. But for the girls, if she has one dominant, one recessive, she is actually a carrier. She is not affected. When she will be affected? In one case, if she is carrying the homozygous recessive like this. So the chance to have affected girl is less than the chance to have affected boy. I'll explain the sex-linked traits on a separate video using the Punnett square and even the pedigree to explain it more. And the last type of the complex inheritance is the polygenic traits. Many phenotypic traits arise from the interactions of multiple pairs of genes. Example, like the skin color, eye colors, and even height. And we have other than these examples. Now, I hope that you understood the concept of having several complex inheritance patterns. Thank you.